Hi, Cher Kilishevsky here. Today I'm here to talk about what is a long-term savings account. What is it and what is it intended for? In general, you should be looking at and setting up a savings plan. And in this savings plan, there are three different types of savings accounts. There's an emergency savings account, there's a short-term savings account, and there is a long-term savings account. In this video, I'm going to focus on what is the long-term savings account and what is it used for. So your long-term savings account is the account where you hold money for future investments. This account typically lays the foundation for your long-term financial plans, such as retirement, or if you have a financial goal or a wealth goal to create generational financial legacy for your family, this is the account that you start with. It's not to say that you're going to just put your money into a savings account at the bank and have it get less than 1% interest per year, and that's going to be your long-term savings plan and account. What it is that this is the account where you put money into for your long-term investments, bigger, broader investments, say in the stock market, possibly purchase of rental properties, maybe moving into mortgage notes, maybe doing something like partnering in a business, something of that nature that's going to have larger returns and a better return on your money in the long term, something that requires some time in order to see those returns. With a long-term savings plan, what you really want to do is get used to paying yourself first. You've probably heard this term in the past, you should pay yourself first. Out of all of the money that you make, first thing you should do is pay yourself and then pay your bills. If you don't already have a long-term savings account, you really want to start with a portion of your income, maybe only 1%, but a portion of all income that you receive, and start putting that away into a long-term savings account for investment. If you're starting small because you don't have one of these set up yet and this is not a habit of yours, be gentle with yourself. Start with 1%, that's okay. If you can start with more than that, excellent. What you really want to do is you want to target to get to no less than 10% of all money that you bring in and you take home. So what you really want to get to, like I had said, if you're not already there, you want to get to be at least 10% of all of your income to be put into a long-term savings account. Pay yourself first. Pay yourself before you pay your bills. Pay yourself before you use any money from a discretionary perspective to just go and buy impulse items because you've got a little extra cash in your account. Now, this might seem really hard. I'm going to come back to this idea of paying yourself first if you haven't paid yourself first in the past. This might seem really hard. And I really would like to address that a little bit. It was really hard for me when I first started doing this. When I started my wealth path, not that long ago, about 15 years ago, this was I thought this was going to be the hardest thing to do. I was not contributing to a 401k through my employer. I was not just setting money aside into like an IRA. I was not setting money aside into a long-term savings account for myself. And I just thought, oh my gosh, how am I ever going to be able to pay my bills after I've put money aside in a different account that I really can't even touch? Or I don't want to touch it until I'm much older. And so I started with 1%. I started with 1% of my income. It was an automatic withdrawal for me, which made it very simple, very a no-brainer. I didn't have to think about it. I did not have to do anything. It was totally automated for me, and that was the way for me to go. It was all automated. I got really used to that happening. I got used to not having that 1% in my take-home pay. I saw it going into this other account, and I was able to start investing it pretty quickly after that. And I got to watch that money grow. And it kind of becomes a little addictive. Oh my gosh, can you tell? Can you tell how I am about this stuff? To watch that money grow. And so over time, I increased it another percent, and I increased it another percent, and I increased it another percent. And then I got a raise. Those do happen. I got a raise, and the percentage that I got a raise for is the percentage that I bumped up my long-term savings, my monthly long-term savings. And before you knew it, I was at 10%. I was at 10%, and I could cover my bills, and I could put money into my short-term savings, and I had an emergency fund established, and I could watch that money grow, and I could use that money and invest it. I could invest it in the stock market. I could invest it in starting a new business. I could invest it in all kinds of things that are longer term and have a better growth rate to them than just sitting in a bank savings account. I just want to share that as a little bit of hope and a little bit of motivation for you if you find that the idea of putting money away in order to pay yourself first is daunting and it feels like you just can't do it. You can do it. You don't even have to start with 1%. I started with 1%. Start with something. Get used to doing it. Get into the habit. Train your brain to get used to putting money into a long-term savings account. As you start to see that account grow, I hope you have a similar experience that I have. The rush of seeing that account grow and to see that money multiply is much bigger than the rush I would get from an impulse buy. So some food for thought. Get your long-term savings account set up, get your short-term savings account set up, and get an emergency fund established for yourself. That's all for today. Talk to you soon. Bye.